Will Hunting is a 20-year-old guy living in a rough part of South Boston, but he spends his days working at one of the most elite institutions on the planet, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The catch? He's just the janitor, mopping floors and cleaning hallways. One afternoon, while going about his routine, he spots an incredibly difficult math problem scrawled on a blackboard in the corridor. It immediately grabs his attention. The problem was put there by Professor Gerald Lambeau, a renowned mathematician who had challenged his students. Anyone who could solve this theorem before the end of the semester would earn a publication in the MIT journal, along with his admiration and a fast track to recognition.
By having their accomplishment recorded and their name printed in the auspicious MIT Tech.
Will can't get the problem out of his head. That night, out at a bar with his buddies, he's so preoccupied that he suddenly ditches them mid-conversation and races back to his rundown apartment to work on it.
I'm gonna take off. Fuck you taking off. It's like, what, 10 o'clock? I'm tired.
With no blackboard at home, he scribbles equations all over his bathroom mirror. After hours of intense effort, he cracks it. Over the weekend, back at work, he casually writes the complete solution on the board while taking a break from mopping. A few days later, Professor Lambeau discovers the anonymous proof. He's stunned. None of his graduate students had come close to solving what he considered one of the hardest problems he'd ever posed. He's desperate to find out who this hidden genius is.
Who did this? Jack?
Wasn't me.
Nimish?
No way.
That same evening, Will is hanging out with his crew when they drive past a group of guys harassing a girl. Will recognizes one of them instantly, an old bully from his childhood who used to make his life hell. Without a second thought, he tells his friend to pull over, jumps out, and decks the guy square in the face. A full-on brawl erupts between the two groups. When the police show up, Will's friends try to drag him off his opponent, but it's too late. He's arrested. The next morning, Lambeau is lecturing a packed classroom. He knows full well that most of the crowd isn't there for the math lesson. They're all dying to learn the identity of the mystery solver.
Without further ado, come forward, silent rogue, and receive thy prize.
When no one comes forward, he decides to up the ante, puts an even tougher problem on the board, one that he and his colleagues have been wrestling with unsuccessfully for over 2 years.
And there is a problem on the board right now.
Meanwhile, Will gets released from the police station and mentions to his friend that he has a court date coming up in a week. That night, back on his janitorial shift, he notices another problem on the board. This one looks almost too straightforward. He starts solving it quickly, hoping to finish before anyone spots him. Just then, Professor Lambeau steps out of his office and catches him in the act.
That's people's work. You can't graffiti here. Don't you walk away from it.
Lambeau chases after him, but Will slips away into the shadows. When the professor returns to examine the board more closely, he realizes that yet again, a perfect solution has been added. He's floored. Later that night, Will meets up with his friends at the bar and breaks the news. He got fired. The following day, Professor Lambeau decides he has to track down this elusive prodigy. He heads to the janitorial office looking for the name of the student employee who's been cleaning the halls.
I just need the name of the student who works here.
No students work for me.
Eventually, though, the truth comes out. Will isn't a student at all. The work is court-ordered community service. That very day, Will's court hearing takes place. Lambeau shows up unexpectedly and watches as Will defends himself brilliantly.
Liberty, in case you've forgotten, is the soul's right to breathe. And when it cannot take a long breath, laws are girded too tight. Without liberty, man is a cinco.
Man is a what?
Ibid, Your Honor.
But despite his sharp arguments, the sheer number of prior offenses on his record means the judge has no choice. He's sentenced to jail time.
But you hit a cop. You're going in. Motion to dismiss is denied. $50,000 bail.
Thank you.
Sometime later, while Will is locked up, he gets a visitor, Professor Lambeau.
What the fuck do you want?
I'm Gerald Lambeau.
The professor explains that he's convinced the judge to release Will on his own recognizance, but there are two strict conditions. First, Will has to meet with Lambeau weekly to study advanced mathematics under his guidance. Second, he must attend regular therapy sessions to address his pattern of trouble with the law. Will figures he doesn't need therapy, but freedom sounds a lot better than a cell, so he agrees.
All right, I'll do the math, but I'm not going to meet with any fucking therapist.
It's better than spending that time in jail, isn't it?
Will is released from jail and immediately begins his weekly sessions with Professor Lambeau. The math comes effortlessly to him. He tears through advanced problems like they're nothing. Therapy, however, is a completely different story. Lambeau lines up a series of psychologists, hoping one will finally click with Will. The first therapist loses it when Will, having skimmed the guy's own published book overnight, dismantles it with brutal precision.
Do you find it hard to hide the fact that you're gay?
The psychologist storms out, muttering that the sessions just aren't worth the aggravation.
I can't do this pro bono work anymore. It's just not It's not worth it.
The second one tries a stern clinical approach, even attempting hypnosis.
It's touching.
Where is it touching you?
It's touching me down there.
Will turns it into a farce, cracking crude jokes until the guy gives up as well.
Afternoon delight. Hey, afternoon.
Lambeau is on the verge of throwing in the towel when he remembers an old college roommate who might be able to handle someone like Will, Sean McGuire. Lambeau tracks Sean down at his modest community college office and lays out Will's situation.
Sean,
Yeah.
I think I got something interesting for you.
He invites him to talk it over at a restaurant, where the conversation briefly turns personal.
Before Nancy died.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was in Paris. It was that damn conference.
I got your card. It was nice.
At first, Sean resists taking the case. His schedule is packed, and he's not looking for extra work. But Lambeau persuades him by comparing Will to Ramanujan, the self-taught Indian genius who made groundbreaking discoveries a century ago with almost no formal training.
This boy is incredible. I've never seen anything like him.
Sean finally agrees to give it a shot. Their first session is classic Will: sarcasm, deflection, and deliberate provocation. He even trashes a painting Sean did himself, calling it amateur garbage. Sean stays remarkably calm until Will crosses the line and starts digging into Sean's late wife. That's when Sean snaps.
If you ever disrespect my wife again, I will end you. I will fucking end you.
The session ends abruptly. Afterward, Lambeau notices Sean is rattled and offers him an out.
I'll understand if you don't want to meet with me.
But Sean refuses. He wants another meeting the following week. That night, Sean can't stop thinking about Will's cruelly accurate jabs about his wife and the loneliness he's been carrying since her death. Meanwhile, Will goes on a date with Skylar, a girl he met at the bar. They hit it off instantly, sharing laughs late into the night, and end the evening with a kiss outside a diner. The second therapy session comes around, but this time Sean moves it outdoors to a park bench overlooking a lake. Will launches into his usual defensive routine, but Sean cuts him off. He admits he's been replaying Will's comments and now has a few things to get off his chest. In Sean's view, Will is just a scared kid hiding behind book smarts. Sure, he can rattle off facts about art, war, and love from every textbook ever written, but he's never left South Boston, never seen the Sistine Chapel in person, never smelled the smoke of a real battlefield, never risked genuine vulnerability with a woman. Most importantly, Sean tells him no amount of cleverness will ever let him truly understand the pain of losing someone you love, or being abandoned as a child, until Will is willing to open up and trust someone.
I don't give a shit about all that, because you know what? I can't learn anything from you. I can't read in some fucking book, unless you want to talk about you.
The next session, Will sits in total silence, testing Sean's patience. Sean doesn't flinch, he just waits. It works. In the following meeting, Will finally cracks a filthy joke, and from there they start talking like human beings. Will casually mentions his recent date. When Sean asks if he plans to see Skylar again, Will surprises himself by confessing the truth. Right now, she seems perfect, and he's terrified of doing anything that might ruin that illusion.
This girl's like fucking perfect right now. I don't want to ruin that.
Sean pushes back gently. He thinks Will is really afraid of letting anyone see his own imperfections. That's what real intimacy requires, accepting the flaws in each other. Sean opens up about his late wife, sharing the quirky little habits he misses most since she died of cancer. Those imperfections, he says, were what made her perfect to him. For the first time, Will actually listens. He shows up unannounced at Skylar's dorm. She's surprised. He hasn't called in weeks, but agrees to go out again.
All right,
But then maybe some other time.
like tomorrow?
Yeah, all right.
They spend the day at the dog track, laughing and betting on long shots, having the kind of effortless fun that feels rare. Later, Skylar asks about his childhood. Will dodges the truth and spins a ridiculous story about growing up with 12 older brothers who tormented him in hilariously over-the-top ways.
I have 12 big brothers.
You do not
I swear to God. I swear to God. I'm lucky 13 right here.
But she keeps pressing Will to meet his family. He keeps stalling, dodging the truth. Eventually, to buy time, Will introduces her to his real crew, Chucky and the guys from the neighborhood. To everyone's surprise, Skylar slides right in, trading jokes, pounding beers, and holding her own like she's known them forever.
Mary looks up at him and she goes, "Give us a kiss."
Oh my God!
The night is going great until Chucky pulls Will aside and drops a bomb. He knows Will's terrified that once Skylar sees where he really comes from, that cramped, broken-down apartment, she'll drop him cold.
Oh no, not tonight. Not any other night, hon. He knows once you see that little shithole, he's getting dropped like a bad habit.
Meanwhile, Professor Lambeau meets Sean at a diner to get an update on Will's emotional progress. Lambeau couldn't care less about the therapy side. He just wants to know if Will is finally ready to step into the brilliant future sure he's lining up for him. Top-tier job offers, connections, the works. Sean pushes back. Will has to decide for himself what he wants. Nobody can force it. Lambeau gets heated, bragging about the doors he's already opened.
Talk about the boy. Why don't we give him time to figure out what he wants?
What he doesn't know is that Chucky impersonated Will at one of those meetings, showed up drunk and rude, demanded cash, and tanked the whole opportunity.
You can speak with my aforementioned attorney. Good day, gentlemen. And until that day comes, keep your ear to the grindstone.
Will and Skylar's relationship keeps heating up until one night at her place she blindsides him. She's heading to Stanford soon and wants him to come with her to California.
Will, come to California with me.
Will shuts it down instantly, rattling off excuses. Skylar won't let it go. She thinks he's hiding in Southie because it's the only place he's the smartest guy in the room and he's scared of real competition. The argument explodes. Will lashes out, accusing her of slumming it with a poor kid from the wrong side of town, convinced her money and privilege mean she'll never see him as an equal.
Why are you saying this? What is your obsession with this money?
Skylar fires back that if she could trade all the inheritance for one more day with her dead father, she would in a heartbeat. She's terrified too, but at least she's being honest. Then she remembers the 12 brothers that don't exist. Will completely loses it, shouting that she doesn't really want to know the truth about him. He finally spits it out. He's an orphan, bounced through foster homes where people beat him, burned him, put cigarettes out on him. Skylar, crying, tells him none of that would change how she feels. She wants all of him, the ugly parts included. Then she says the 3 words, "I love you." Will looks her dead in the eye and replies, "I don't love you." He walks out.
I don't love you.
The fallout hits hard. Will storms into Lambeau's office furious about the botched job interview and declares he's not even sure he wants this high-flying math career anymore. Talking to Lambeau feels like pulling teeth because Will's mind runs circles around him. Lambeau demands gratitude for everything he's done. The fight ends with Will walking away. Soon after, Will gets called in for an interview with the NSA. They paint a picture of unlimited potential, top-secret work, big money, power. Will turns them down flat, saying he refuses to spend his life spying on ordinary people just to serve some government agenda.
That is what you do. You guys handle 80% of the intelligence workload. You're 7 times the size of the CIA.
Back in therapy, Sean asks why he rejected the offer. Will shrugs it off with bravado. He's holding out for something better.
So what did I think? I'm holding out for something better.
Sean digs deeper. Does Will ever feel lonely? Does he have anyone he can really talk to? Will rattles off philosophers like Nietzsche and Kant. Sean reminds him those guys are dead. Real connection only happens with living, breathing people. He asks why Will picked the most elite school in the world to mop floors, yet always hid when he solved the problems. When Sean finally asks the big question, what do you really want out of life? Will deflects with nonsense about being happy laying bricks or tending sheep forever. Sean sees right through the act, calls him out for not being honest, and kicks him out of the office.
Listen, you're not going to answer my questions. You're wasting my fucking time.
What? I thought we were friends. What do you mean you...
Playtime's over, okay?
Time drags on. Will tries calling Skylar, but she's done waiting for him to grow up. She tells him to take care and heads off to California alone. Will goes back to construction work with Chucky. During a break on the job site, Chucky suddenly turns on Will. He lays into him. Every morning he half hopes he'll pull up to Will's place and find him gone, chasing his talent instead of wasting it in South Boston. Chucky says the greatest day of his life would be knowing Will finally stopped squandering the gift he was given, because none of them will ever have that shot.
In 20 years, if you're still living here, coming over my house to watch the Patriots game, still working construction, I'll fucking kill you.
Lambeau confronts Sean, accusing him of sabotaging Will and pushing him toward a dead-end life. Sean fires back that Lambeau doesn't give a damn about Will as a person. He just wants another trophy genius to show off. He calls Lambeau out for being alone his whole life, never letting anyone close enough to love him. Lambeau storms off. In their next session, Sean tells Will the fight with Lambeau is old baggage between them, nothing to do with him. Then he reveals he's writing the final court report. Will asks if Sean has ever had a client like him. Sean admits his own childhood was brutal. Alcoholic father who beat him regularly. He looks Will in the eye and says the most important words, "It's not your fault." Will tries to brush it off with sarcasm at first, but the dam finally breaks. He sobs, letting years of pain out as Sean holds the space for him.
It's not your fault.
At what turns out to be their last session, Will announces he's accepted one of the jobs Lambeau recommended and seems at peace with it. Sean tells him he's taking some time to travel and leaves his number in case Will ever needs it. That night, the guys throw Will a birthday party and surprise him with a beat-up car they rebuilt from junk parts. Later, Lambeau stops by Sean's place. The 2 old friends make amends and head out for a drink. The next morning, Chucky pulls up to Will's apartment as usual and finds it empty. A huge grin spreads across his face. His dream finally came true. Will has left a letter in Sean's mailbox. Sean opens it and reads that Will turned down the job after all. He's gone to California to see about a girl. This recap is dedicated to Robin Williams.